Tonight, in less than 2 months, marijuana will be legal to everyone in California, and that will put all of us at risk on our roads.
And 10 News anchor Brian Schlonsky got an inside look at the tools that officers will use to bust people who are too high to drive.
Yeah, police will use what's called a Draeger that, along with a field sobriety test, could determine that you've been driving high. But it's not that simple. In his time on the roads with San Diego police, Officer John Perdue has seen it time and time again. He works in the traffic division, is an expert at DUI and drug recognition. Since November 8, 2016, when California voters approved Prop 64, or the Adult Use of Marijuana Act, he's been hearing the same thing when he comes across drivers that he suspects are driving high.
Their first reaction is one of two. Either A, I have a medical marijuana card, or B, that marijuana is legal. And I have to remind them that so is alcohol, but you still can't drive under the influence of it.
And on January 1st, when businesses officially start selling pot,
I think there's going to be an increase in DUI marijuanas.
But how exactly will police be able to tell if someone is driving high?
The Draeger is the presumptive drug screening test.
Meet?
Take the cap off, hand it to them.
The Draeger Drug Test 5000.
Take the cartridge, I'll open up the door, I'll insert the cartridge in.
A tool that can detect 7 types of drugs in a person's system. Like an alcohol breathalyzer,
the person has every right to refuse this.
But unlike alcohol, it doesn't have a percent limit. If the Draeger reads positive,
doesn't necessarily mean they're impaired or under the influence. It just says that that chemical or that drug is present in their body.
So to be arrested for DUI,
it's still up to the officer to show impairment.
But that can be tough. Look at the Draeger as an extra tool that's used along with field sobriety tests, what an officer sees, smells, or finds in the car to formulate that officer's opinion on whether a driver is high.
The hardest thing will be, because there's no per se limit right now, that the officers are really going to have to be aware of the signs and symptoms.
To give some perspective and research the possible dangers, we look to Colorado, a state that legalized marijuana in late 2012, followed by sales in 2014. The Denver Post worked extensively with the coroner to gather data. What they found: the number of drivers involved in fatal crashes in Colorado who tested positive for marijuana has gone up every year since 2013. But Colorado transportation and safety officials say the rising number of pot-related traffic deaths can't for sure be linked to legalized weed. That's because the data doesn't indicate whether a driver was high at the time of the crash. Traces of marijuana use from weeks earlier can also show up in tests, the same problem that San Diego police will have when using the Draeger during possible DUI traffic stops. Either way, police in both states say driving high is something they'll watch for.
You don't want a DUI, it's costly, and if you hurt anybody, you could face a felony, and you definitely don't want that in your life.
Brian Schlonsky, 10 News.